We're alive. Very bright out here. Everybody's gonna see how lovely I look in the morning. Just get everything working here. There we go. Alright, today we're going to be painting this portrait. It's going to be our last of our Bleach portraits. And then we're going to move into full figure stuff. So, not only am I excited to finish this and make it good, I'm excited to move on too. Hey, Four, how's it going? I'm glad you're back again today. I was able to finish up that Bucky painting, the painting studying yesterday, really nicely. So I was happy about that. Hi, Mi-chan, welcome back. I made a community post on YouTube if you want to see, or I can bring it in here actually since you guys are here now. Let's see. Oop. This was what we did during the stream. And that was the final there. So yeah, stream, final, stream, final. Came out pretty good. It's definitely one of my best paintings, so this is great. Still, the thing that I need to work on is blending. It's so jaggedy all up in here, but you know, I'll get that in time. Figure it out. The fact that, you know, values and colors look pretty good without the blending is a step in the right direction. Your streams are perfectly timed with my commute home from work. Your commute home? It's the morning for me, damn. But that's pretty cool. It makes it easy to watch. Would you be okay with feedback in your studies? That's a good question. Oh, you're in Sweden. Yeah, I lived in Sweden for about a year. That's awesome. Are you on the public transportation? Are you in the train? Oops. As far as I think on the studies, probably. I'm wondering if I would even want it on personal work. I would say unless there's something like glaringly wrong that I'm missing, and I haven't tried to fix it, then sure. But not that I don't appreciate the critique, but I think that might set a dangerous precedent in the stream to have people just giving free critiques. I don't mean free like cost free, but just offering up their critiques without me really asking. So I'll say, unless you see something that I'm really missing, like a lot of times I don't put the eyes together close enough or something, and for a long time that sketch was the face was wider because the eyes were farther apart than they should have been. But it's good for me to also see that stuff, so I like to catch it. It helps you learn, you know? I was thinking more like pro tips and advice. Like, no, one specs of where's the second eye? No, again, I appreciate it, but I think, and again, it's probably from you because you have more training. It would probably actually be better to get advice from you, but it's okay. I don't want to encourage more people to do that, so unfortunately, I have to say no. But I do appreciate it. Maybe in the future, you know, we could have I don't know, mods in the channel that are trusted that we can be giving advice, or we could just like have a session where I'm like, okay, openly critique this, and I'm okay with that. Actually, I like the sound of that. Having like little critique session, group critique sessions, and that way I can, you know, see where people's heads are at and what they're thinking. I can tell that there's something up with this neck. It may just be that it's too long. Try. Yeah, it's always good to ask first. It's always frustrating to ask for by randos online. Yeah, no, I appreciate that you asked. Yeah, it is frustrating. People do that. I remember I was roommates with an artist, and I had a friend over, and they came into the room while I was doing this little like environment study, and they started just like critiquing my shit. I didn't even invite them into my room. They just I didn't notice them pop up behind me because I was like I had headphones on and everything. And they just started like critiquing my stuff. I was like, what the hell are you? Get out of my room. That's what that feels like online. Okay, I did not want to do that. I was looking for... What is this? No, I don't want to do that. Michan, I like it a lot. I'm a beginner when it comes to rendering, so seeing someone's journey to learn it as well is super inspiring to really study it too. Yeah, I can already tell that I've improved a bit from these portraits. The most recent study that I just showed you, that's the best thing that I've ever painted. So, and I can tell how different it feels. So, and it was a challenging piece in terms of color and lighting, and I still was able to figure it out. So, I mean, for the most part. Okay, I'm gonna tackle this here. I need to get rid of these lines so I can merge them down. course, the lines inside this shape. Once we boil it down a little bit more. Got the lines. In yesterday's session, did you paint it all on a single layer? Sewed. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Sewed? Sewed. Let me know how to say that. Typically I do mostly paint on one layer. It's like I'll usually add a layer to make changes to make sure I like it, and when I do like it and I'm confident with it, I'll merge it down and then I'll paint on one layer again. We're gonna clip that to the shape. There we go. That way none of our lines are going to be outside that shape and it won't look all wonky. But yeah, if you do, well, you must know this, like if you do work in the industry or whatever, they're going to make you paint in like a ton of layers, because just in case they want to change anything or you need to change anything. So, you know, a lot of people in the industry get very used to working super clean layers with everything. I mean, maybe not for portraits so much, but you know, with the glasses per se, they'd probably have a whole new layer for glasses. But you know, when you're trying to make an illustration, you have to deal with the piece as a whole, and having edge control, like having some of the glasses move in and out of like the hair. I think you could do it on another layer, but it's just not conducive to the workflow that I like. I think it just makes things look a little bit more natural. There's nothing wrong with working in layers or anything like that, and I also think it will help me as an artist grow just through pure raw skill, you know. The artist that I really look up to, Ray, she just repaints the hell out of everything if she screws up, you know. So being able to have that ability, I think that's like Craig Mullins and stuff too. They can paint anything. So if they screw up or they want to repaint an area, they just repaint it. It's not a big deal. So I want to be able to do that. So I like working on one layer. It forces me to deal with things directly rather than avoid them. I'm also trying to stop using the undo button, which is even more challenging. So great, even the details are amazing. I salute you, thank you. Or I like to do mostly on one layer too. People tell me it sounds difficult, but I think it gives more control and less futzing with layers. Yeah, that's how I feel too. I feel like it's less of a fuss. Mark Damien. The glasses are cool. I always struggle with drawing glasses or objects through glass. Yeah, this is new for me too. I've done some self-portraits back in the day, but this is the first time in a long while I've had any glasses on a painting, so I tried to paint in a little like almost opaqueness to the hair when it's overlapping it over here, so I'm gonna try that. But I really, it's mostly what I know to do, so we'll see how that works. I'll probably try to make it a little bit more smoother. You might try to lose this edge of the glasses. We'll see how we make that work. Okay, I think we are good to merge down. Now we can try to fix this neck. So I am almost positive that his neck's too long. Actually, I'm gonna want to do the opposite of this. So I don't want to drop his head anymore. So I'm gonna lift the body up, and then I'll just extend the body down. Not too far. Okay, so his neck. Hi, Andika. And yeah, for work it's a whole different setup. Yeah, I imagine it would be. So hair needs a little touch up. Yeah, we're the hair's, everything's only generally blocked in, so nothing here is final. Right now, when I get to this stage, it's more about refining the shapes and the drawings, so I can make sure everything looks right before I start adding more rendering detail. And right now, for me, the neck feels off, so I'm trying to figure out how to resolve that, so I can move forward. I think the biggest thing probably is the neck has to feel like it's overlapping. So right now, it's not, which would suggest that his neck is too far back. First one. Excuse me. Why are you not? Oh. It was still in the selection tool or whatever. Bean Charlie Art's looking solid so far. Found you on TikTok a year ago. Oh snap. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like TikTok was kind of my start into this thing. It gave me the confidence to kind of jump in there. I remember getting like a couple hundred views on some ridiculous video. And then it's started taking off a little bit. It was a lot of fun. More back in the day, I think, than it is now, but it's still a good platform. Okay, so we're gonna resolve this by taking just the head. We're gonna need Also, that piece of hair. Sorry, bear with me, guys. It's gonna look a little wonky for a minute. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have moved the neck with this. Usually there's not so much heavy editing like this, but I screwed up on the head, so... Let's see if this helps resolve it. All your drawings? Not yet. I still not quite there yet. I don't wanna sell stuff that I personally don't think is worth anything. It makes me feel, it would make me feel bad, you know. The personal project I'm doing right now is the Bleach project. You know, you never know if you're going to create a super amazing piece or not. You don't know when you're going to reach that level of professional, but when I do finish it, I'll probably release some kind of like PDF and sell it for like $1 or something, just so people can take a look at the progress that happened and everything. And maybe some of the pieces will be extraordinary, and that'll be cool. Okay. We're gonna be deleting some head here. Just make sure that we're not doing it too much. I think that's... Alright, I know it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Those big, awesome pieces will come sooner or later. Just keep working our way to them. Yeah, I feel that way too. Yeah, after the we've done. Is this portrait number 5? I did Ichigo, Chad, Orihime, Rukia, and then Ishida. So yeah, this is portrait number 5. I have like I basically made like a project that I outlined all the ideas for the pieces. There was room for, ideas along the way as well, but I wanted to make sure I kind of knew what I was going to be doing. So the next part, originally when I made it was to help me study anatomy. So we're going to be doing full figure sketches and then paintings of those same characters. They're all going to kind of be in like pajamas or underwear because, again, trying to learn anatomy. And I don't know much about clothes, if you can tell by the lovely shirt and all the random folds. So I want to understand what's going on underneath first, but that'll be fun to put together. And I also get to study, layout design and everything like that by making beautiful presentation pages. Yes, love anatomy. Get those Morpho books. You have good basic resources. Yeah, I like the Morpho books. They've been really nice. A surprise, considering we haven't had new anatomy books for a while. I also like TB Choi's book. Not as detailed, as far as anatomy goes or anything, but the way that she designs the figure is incredible. That's gonna irritate me. Go away, please. Or take a picture of yourself with a specific light sources can be helpful for learning how folds and clothing can look. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I am personally trying to avoid doing stuff like that. I want to learn in a way that this artist here, Ray, does, where I'm able to do stuff without having to conjure up any of my own reference. Obviously, you have to study from reference in order to do that, but like I'm doing these portraits, you study and then you do a lot for imagination. So I don't want to have to come up with any once you understand, you know, there's like, I don't know, I think like 8 different kinds of folds, right? Once you understand that, it just becomes how you handle that treatment, and when you see it, if you can make it happen at that point. And then of course you have to worry about designing it well and that other kind of stuff. But it's okay if you use reference. This is how I want to be an artist. I want to have complete freedom when it comes to designing things, and you really don't get there until you can manufacture all this stuff in your head. When you have to rely on, you know, making your own reference and stuff, you're limited. You still do amazing work. Again, I don't want to get misquoted here or something. But there is a degree of freedom that is not available to you because you don't know it. You still need this reference to rely on. Why is that? Oh, it must be that there's a gap here. There we go. The really good man, I think this is the first anatomy series that actually covers body fat. It's tragic how majority of our researchers completely ignore body fat when teaching anatomy. Oh yeah, I've got the body fat one, that book too. Yeah, I've studied. TB Choi does some. She has drawings of like people who are different sizes in her book. I think in her book too. She's done drawings of it before, and I've studied before, but I think it's in her book as well. Mm-hmm. All right. I think. Darker because I can't see what the hell's happening. Need a little extra room on that arm. Stuff is weird. Now he looks too bulky. Alright, hang on. What did I do? It's not his arm. Good. I draw awesome doodles and started watching you to learn a new type of drawing. That's it's awesome. You draw awesome doodles. I like that. Is there something you feel that I'm I'm doing that you want to learn that you haven't done before? Did I make his neck too long now? Jesus Christ. Alright, I may just have erased too much body here. That feels better. I tried to find the body fit one, but it's sold out. Bought a digital PDF of it for mostly print. That's a shame. I guess that makes sense. His books are, well, like you said, there's no other resource, so where else are we gonna get it? I'm sure they've gotten a lot more popular, people talking about them and sharing them more. Hey, Chris. Oh, sorry, I need. There's always that moment in painting where I feel like things are going really well, and just slightly nervous to take the next step because I know I'm gonna fuck it up. And it's just nerve-wracking. I think teachers usually say you like start to pet your drawing, which just means you keep going over the same areas because you're too nervous to move on to the next step that you know you need to move on to. And right now I'm starting to pet, so I need to stop and get ready. I can do this. It's just a little scary. What's that, guys? Thank you, Chris. The design decisions are sometimes a little difficult because I had a teacher in a color and light class, Nathan Fouts. He's worked on like DreamWorks movies and stuff. Incredible artist, but he showed something that had already been taught at that point. It was just something that I actually got to see in professional work. That sometimes, artists break the rules of how things work in a painting. So if the light is coming this way, for instance, they'll change the way that the light and the shadows are just to make the design better. So dealing with not just the light source, but knowing that you want to clearly communicate something a little bit better, so you change the design, even though it's not how the light would act. It's like these layers of skill. So he was showing in this, I think it was track or something, where the light was hitting this character's face like all in the front, but the only light source was behind him, and he was showing that he bent the light around his face, just so you could see it more clearly, but also you get the drama of this one light source. So I'm trying to make like design decisions here, like what communicates the best with this light source. The gods of drawing, you can bend the rules of light any way you want. That's part of the problem, right? Is we can do anything, and when you can do anything, it's up to you to decide what to do. Yeah, there we go. That's where I was struggling. Why rim light is the best light. Yeah, it's funny. I actually don't see Ray use a lot of rim light, and I feel like rim light can make things look very, give it that super concept arty look, which isn't a bad thing. It really can make things pop out and look cool. But you gotta be careful not to overuse it as well. It's got like a, it's got a specific look, almost like when you overuse who's guilty of this? Like the Star Trek Transformers movies where you get that really dramatic flare lights, I think that they're called. Show you as much room as It is fun. I have used plenty of rim light on, studying character design and stuff. I will admit. Looks good. Thank you, Chris. Tend to add green, blue, and pink light in cast shadows on an overlay layer just because. Does it make sense logically? It looks pretty. I mean, whatever colors you like, you're free to use. Spending time on that little hairpiece. I might get rid of that, but we're gonna do the same thing over here. Just a little bit different. And sneeze. Okay. Damn. Jump scare sneeze. Sorry. It's looking awesome. Thank you, Jessica. I swear you said in a video somewhere, but I've forgotten. How long have you been drawing for? And how long have you been seriously trying to improve your drawing skills? So left and right. I'm not sure what you mean by that, so Jessica, I I I think I mentioned in the video it's been like 13 years. Um, which is a long ass time. Um, I took a couple years ago. I took like a year or two away from it, uh, which took a little bit of time to get back to. Not as much as you would think. Um, in terms of like retraining, I guess. But yeah, I mean, if you watch that most recent video, you know that my whole progress was just slower than it ever needed to be. If you look at somebody like Miles Johnston, he did it in like 2 or 3 years. And so I always kind of wanted to be like him. That's a big reason why I even went to Sweden to study. But I feel like I'm finally pushing through a lot of the issues that I had had. Oops. So yeah, I think about 13 years roughly. Where in Sweden did you study? It's okay to ask. Yeah, no, I was in, oh boy, let's see if I actually remember. It's called the Swedish Academy of Realist Art. I believe they had to move their building, so I don't think it's in the same place now as when I studied there. It was in, oh my gosh, hang on. Is this in Simmersham? Doesn't sound familiar to me, so I'm almost positive that it was in Stockholm. Because there was tons of public transportation and yeah, no, it was absolutely in Stockholm. I just don't remember where specifically. I think it's time to break for just a second. I can answer any of y'all's questions if you have any. One second. We have this little stepper machine, so I like to bust it out. Yeah, it's usually Stockholm or Gothenburg, where people from abroad go to study. What other art books do you own besides Morpho? I have a bunch of them right here, so I could let you know. Let's see here. Oh. Oops. I had people asking about this one in the last video, which I can't tell them the title because I can't read it. I just go by the ISBN number. You can search it if you want to, but there's really great anatomy drawings and stuff in here. So the leg, like that. Some are better than others. They even do like clothing, folds and everything like that. I actually haven't taken the time to study out of this one yet. But it's really good, and we'll study for it eventually. I have a habit of collecting art books. I think it's just an artist problem that happens. But they're very, very detailed for the anatomy, and I like the red that like helps outline the muscles and everything. Absolutely. Even goes into the bones a little bit. And then near the end of it, it starts to go into like motion and camera perspective, like composition, things like that. So it's a nice little find in the Japanese bookstore. Oh, read the books is essential. Yeah, I suppose. If you're studying from them, if you're just collecting them and not actually using them, it's not very helpful. Let's see, another one. This one's nice. Get it out of my bookshelf. You've seen this one? It's called Framed Ink. This one's all about composition. He has this really cool thing with just heads. And goes into actual like storytelling, composition, changing of mood and lighting. There are very few books on composition, so honestly I think this one's kind of essential. Mr. Cocoa Butter Man, how's it going? Welcome back. What other animes do you watch? Do you like the new gen ones like Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, My Hero? I watch a ton of anime right now. I'm rewatching oh my gosh. The Devil is a Part-Timer because I want to watch the second and third season. I haven't seen them. I just rewatched Konosuba, they're both hilarious. Jujutsu Kaisen, I tried reading the manga, but I couldn't get into it. But the animation looks crazy good, so I want to watch that. I've only watched the first episode of Chainsaw Man, I definitely want to continue that. It was amazing. Trying to think about watching anything else right now. I'm trying to go back and watch old anime, because sometimes I see like on my feed people will share like really old anime, like 90s style stuff, and it looks so cool. They're just such good artists back then. Not that they aren't good now. They do amazing things in a different way. But the old stuff is really cool too. There's lots of classic anime that I just never saw when I was growing up. And then I have this goal to get through One Piece, which is going to be a lot. I'm all caught up on the manga, but I really want to see the anime based on all the stuff that was shared with Gear 5 and the Kaido fight and everything. That looks so cool. Yeah, I watch tons of anime. I want to go through all the Studio Trigger stuff again. There was a couple things that I missed that I'd like to catch. Oh, I finished Bleach recently, the new 1000-Year Blood War 2. That was amazing. If your anatomy book isn't heavy enough to kill a man, or are you even trying? I'm not holding this. Yeah, that's funny. Honestly, I think one of my favorite anatomy books is Anatomy for Sculptors. And then I would couple it with something like the Morpho books or T.B. Choi's character design book. It's the design in that is just so good. Framed ink is epic. Yeah, it is. Get that cinematic vibe down pat. When you say Japanese bookstore, do you mean Kinokuniya? Yes. That is the bookstore I'm talking about. I live in San Francisco right now. They have one in Japantown. I'm going to move back to that Bay Area. It's just too expensive out here. But they have another one there as well in their own version of Japantown. What the heck it's called? I used to forget Japantown and remember that name, so that's funny. But yeah, that's a cool bookstore. I have their like membership card to get discounts and stuff. It's a nice way to be able to get anime stuff. I have all the art books for One Piece, and I bought stuff for like Sword Art Online, because you said you like anime. These are the color walks for One Piece, which I love. They're so cool. Eventually I want to go back to drawing some comic stuff. I started a comic a long time ago and I want to go back to it. Hi Nova! So this is the newest color walk. Super cool. And I also have, I'm a big fan of Sword Art Online, and especially Abeck, the artist for Sword Art. Enjoy having those in my collection as well. Yeah. It's about time to get back into it. Cool. Oh, snap, Uryu. Yeah, it's Ishida. Oh. Please finish that comic. I'm starting one too. You should submit it to the one-shot tourney going on. Oh my gosh, no, that would be too much pressure. And you know, we'll see. But maybe the next one. Jesus Martinez, greetings from Mexico. Viva Mexico. I'm struggling with gesture. Any advice? Yeah, my grandma makes me say Viva Mexico all the time. I call her my abuelita, I should say. I love her. She's great. So, gesture advice. What are you what exactly are you struggling with? Because it's a pretty broad statement. There's so many different things to struggle with gesture. Okay. Hey, Nerdy from Canada. How's it going? Nova, are you submitting something to the one-shot tournament or the competition? There's one manga I recommend for one manga. It's Witch Hat Atelier. Stories one big allegory on how it is to be an artist is so good. I don't think I've ever heard of that before. Witch Hat Atelier. I read a lot of like webtoons and stuff too. I will look this up. Let me see if it's on. Oh, there it is. Okay, I will check it out. I'll read it. You want to? Nice. Yeah, Mr. Cocoa Butterman, they're doing, I think it's Viz, that does all the Shonen Jump stuff. They're doing, I don't know why I called it a tournament, like Dragon Ball Z. I think it's a competition for one-shots. I believe they've done it before. So yeah, you can make a one-shot manga and see how it compares to everybody else out there. Alright. I feel like color need to wrote the story already, just looking into designing the characters. I'm drawing alongside you. That's awesome. Well, I wish you luck. I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun though. Baby boy, go on up. Stories essentially what if drawing was literally magic. That's cool. I'm sure the manga's gonna be interesting. Actually in Japan, but they brought it to the West this time. Thanks, James. So I have a question. When is your channel going live? I typically have been going live recently Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 8:30 to 10:30. Actually, it might be a good time to ping everybody about whether or not this is a good time for them. That's 8:30 to 10:30 Pacific. The only other time I could really do it would be at night, like 6:30 to 8:30 or something. can I do to draw the figure more dynamic? So my drawings and they look stiff. That is a good question. So when I try to make my drawings more dynamic, um, I'm generally looking for one big gesture line in the figure that I can sort of build the rest of the figure from. Um, so yeah, so if you have a figure, you know, you're looking for the big sweeping gesture, and that's how you can sort of build the rest of your figure from. Because if you start to, you know, I mean, as you get more advanced, you can do this, but if you start to like break it down at the beginning, and I don't know if I'm gonna, I always hate when people do good and bad examples because sometimes they end up doing a good job on their bad example. But anyways, if you start to, you know, break things down and you don't have that like large sweeping motion, maybe you just break the flow and you're just having this character sit here, and that's not particularly wonderful. But even this can have a flow to it. So it is a lot about finding those large sweeping gestures. The more you can sort of get that and then play off the other side. So, you know, when you have the torso, there's generally one side that is simplified and curvy, I guess, and then the other side is more like this. So you have your straight and your broken up curve points, and the contrast between these two makes more dynamic figures. There's a lot of other things that go into it, you know, that you learn over time. Like my teacher, something that I'm still working on now, but like if you have a figure that is like this, you even have to consider points that are not connected for points of rhythm. So the neck connects to the hips, right? And these points of rhythm, you know, and this could even come all the way down here to the to maybe the foot is like perched out here, and you have this line to the foot. This is super unbalanced. I'm gonna have to go like this, but whatever. You get the point. There are invisible points of rhythm, like what do they call, like lines of continuity, and it creates rhythm in your piece, and you have to think about those things. You know, there are invisible points of rhythm in this portrait even, or stop, or this sweeping gesture down the face, right? And that brings you throughout the whole thing. And theoretically, it's my job to also push your eye back up, and you can do that through like the folds and everything like that. Right now I'm noticing as I'm explaining this to you that like the tie just sort of leads you out of the composition. It can also lead you back in and then bring you around here So you're always thinking of those lines uh, as ways to add rhythm. It's not just for figures. I feel like I want to do more to this, but I'm almost feeling like it's not. It's not too bad the way that it is. Matriarch, this is nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, of course she is. I hope that helped. Um, you're gonna learn new, like, little things about how to make things more dynamic. You know, it's not just like this one thing will get you more dynamic poses. It's a lot of different little things that all add up in the end. So you'll start to make your figures better, and then you'll start to see more, and you're like, okay, how do I make this even better? I don't know how to paint it or draw a tie, so we're just gonna figure this out together. Just pretend we know what we're doing. Head out. Good luck on the rest of the stream. Have a good one. You too, Nova. Good luck with your comic, the manga. It's gonna be a lot of work, but I'm confident that you can do it. Kick some butt for us. Sick. Hey, JQ. How's it going? Okay. I'm okay. How you doing today? Doing pretty good. This is turning out pretty good, so that makes me happy. um, Trying to make a better attempt at hair today. Good, I like it. Thank you. We're almost finished up for the day. Just trying to get this done. I can look at all 5 portraits that I made back to back. See if there was some improvement at least, which I believe there was. It's just nice to see it all. I want to ask while you're streaming, I have a question about art and such. Yeah, of course. Go ahead and ask. I'll be here tomorrow too, JQ, if I do have to go, but I'm gonna be here for a few more minutes. I've been lining up my portraits at the end to see how much improvement there's been. So let's check it out together. But yeah, go ahead and ask your questions. I will answer as much as I can. Bleach. portraits. There we go. Alright. Hime was before that. Chad. And first was Ichigo. So honestly, looking at the difference between these two is probably the most striking. Make this smaller. Too much. I can see the difference. I mean, there's a lot that's similar, but I can definitely see the improvement. There's more knowledge and awareness of certain things, like the collarbone. I actually attempted to do the hair this time. Things are rendered a little bit better and more realistically. So that's very cool. Let's put this in the lineup. That feels really cool. Another cool thing is that I've never done 5 pieces for myself like this, ever. I mean, it is fan art still, but like, these are still personal pieces. Hey, baby boy, it's okay. Go on up, go on up. Boy. Dio, your video on pursuing art was great, quite relatable. 23 really used to think I'm too late in Starfield. Chioka, same. 23 really want to improve. You guys are very and look, you can see the improvement already. This is only a span of like a couple weeks. And I can definitely see the improvement. Sorry, I'm taking a moment. This is just cool. I can't believe I did all this. Still got more to go, but it feels good. Alright, Jakey, for your question. I have ADHD. Affects me my whole life. I always didn't know where to start in improving my art. Do you have like a tier where I should start first in improving my art? In terms of wanting to take my art seriously. Tier. Are you a complete beginner, Jakio? There are things with ADHD that I don't know, so that is going to be difficult for me to help you in that regard. I should research it though, because I do know that there are a handful of artists that have it. Probably more than your average career. And I'd like to... Oh, well there you go, 4 has it. Make sure it's fun and tied to any of your special interests. Yeah, I mentioned that before too. I think one of the mistakes people make is trying to study the way that everybody thinks that you have to study and doing boring stuff that is not interesting. Jesus, I got scared for a second there. I like froze. I think everybody makes a mistake of studying the way that they think they should study instead of doing stuff that actually interests them. I just noticed that this is a little screwed up, so I'm gonna fix this. And that's a mistake that a lot of people, including myself, have made. And I haven't made a video on it yet, but there's a reason why I chose to do a project like this, and it's primarily because I think that you should focus on something fun that you really enjoy. I would usually try to avoid projects like this because I'm like, I want to be good before I draw the characters that I like. Which means you're going to be drawing shit that you try not to care about. It's just sort of like the opposite of what you should do. It doesn't make any sense. A couple of books and stuff, other than that I just have a really hard time trying to focus. I feel discouraged about the way my art looks. Yeah, that's definitely something that you have to deal with. You're not gonna just have, art that looks shitty. If you look at other people's art constantly, you're gonna always make that same comparison. But if you look at yours and how you're improving, you're gonna see pieces that make you really proud and happy. Like for instance, these, like I know in the technical sense, these are not good, right? But I'm especially proud of this newest one, and I'm proud of all of them and how far I've come with each of them, and I enjoy them. If I look at who I was referencing, where'd she go? Oh, I closed it. If I look at Ray's work and I try to compare it to that, like, it's just gonna make me sad. Like, I know I'm not as good as that yet. It's okay. I'm still learning. But you're still gonna enjoy your art pieces. As long as you're not constantly comparing. My music playlist, Cocoa Butterman? I use Artlist for my... What the hell is going on? Apparently it's broken. There we go. I use Artlist for my YouTube videos, and I kind of go there and just put on a playlist. This guy's name is RD Sun. I probably should use the YouTube music thing, but I don't have it's not like a specific playlist because you need to have, appropriate licenses to your music and everything, so this is what I've been using. Art can be overwhelming because you practice drawing anything visual. Advice is to practice the areas that appeals to you in general. Yeah, you gotta focus on something first. You try to do everything, you're gonna, you're gonna select something to get better at, or you're gonna just be worse at everything. You can learn everything still. It just takes time. Alright, we're gonna be doing some environments and stuff on here. The portraits are done finally, so we are gonna move into full figures, full figure painting, and then we're gonna start doing some actual full illustrations, which there'll be background environments and everything in there. So that'll be cool. Heard a term called copying for learning in art. Is it like tracing or like trying to mirror it by hand? So, or you've given excellent advice, but I actually would argue against tracing. I haven't made a video about this either, but I made a short a long time ago. Tracing does not really help you, especially in the long run. This is a very complicated topic to explain because a lot of people are going to give me super amount of shit for this. But you will learn much more by doing like a one-to-one copy than you would from tracing on top of something. I use tracing whenever I need to teach something, or whenever I am studying something in that one-to-one way, and I really am not understanding how something is going over here. Same thing if I wanted to like color pick something. It's to confirm what you're trying to figure out. And sometimes you just do that to do that, but it's not a helpful tool in terms of learning. Yeah, no. People are very upfront, hopefully, when they're tracing anything for like learning stuff. Or you do a study, or you're studying something. Like I just did a master's study, and I don't try to pawn that off as my own work. But yeah, so when you see an artist, like a lot of times people see people tracing when they're teaching and think it's like something that they should do to study, but you have to understand that when somebody's teaching you and they're tracing, they know all of this knowledge that you don't have, like the structure of things. So it's tracing, but they're also drawing from their knowledge. They're not actually tracing everything. It's almost like a guide, because when you trace, everything is, you're trying to pick these lines that you're not really able to see, because you're also, not only are you drawing over on top of them, but you're probably, you've like lowered the opacity or something like that. It gives you this false sense of knowledge is my best way to explain it. You believe you know more than you think you do. I use 3D for every structural drawing I do, so I can't do it without it. Just going for a level of realism would take way too long without it. Yeah, and it depends on what you're doing it for. Like if you're doing it for yourself and you want to learn and you want to be able to use, like if you didn't want to use 3D, which is something I'm trying to do, then that's going to be detrimental to you as you learn. But if you want to do that personally, or you're using it for work and you need to finish stuff fast, like that's what people use. They use 3D models, they trace on top of those to make things easier, but still, again, they have that knowledge. Like a bad or a beginner artist who traced over a 3D model is always going to look worse than an experienced artist who knows that knowledge, that structure underneath, because it's not fully tracing. It's also, it's more of a guide than it is tracing. And the people who have relied on tracing like that for all of their training are not going to have the same level of knowledge and freedom to trace that in that sense. Nuzokara, hi. How's it going? Tracing is okay as long as you don't use other people's art as a base. Hey, Nuzo. Roughly choose a photo of my own hand. Yeah, again, it's okay to trace. No, I'm not arguing that it's a bad thing to trace. I'm telling you that as a tool for learning, it is not helpful. You will learn way more from having a photo of your hand and trying to draw it than you would from trying to trace it. You'll learn way more. It's how we learn, how our brain works, how learning works. I would break out all the studies, but it's just like it would take a long time to discuss. Um, and it all depends on your goals as an artist. Um, if it's a work thing, people use tracing stuff all the time because they need to get it done, but they already have that knowledge built into them, I would hope. Or it's going to be weaker than someone who actually had that knowledge built in. Sculpting is really fun. I enjoyed doing it when I had Maya and I played around with ZBrush and stuff. I like it a lot. Jakio, did you delete your Discord? Yeah, I did. I wasn't able to devote. Oh my god, my camera's been pointing up this whole time. I wasn't able to devote my time to Discord as much as I wanted to. So, unfortunately, I deleted it. I'd like to do these live streams now because it's really nice to communicate and have a community, and I'm more on top of it. Whereas the Discord, I felt like I had to be sort of there all day, and I just couldn't give it the energy that I wanted to. I might bring it back sometime, but right now, this feels like a good way to interact with my community, to interact with you. No, don't worry, Gregory. You're not muddying the water. It's cool. Art Punk, yo, this is so dope. Bleach my #1. Yeah, I'm pumped. I did Ichigo first and Ishida last, so I was just looking at the improvement over the past couple weeks, and it's really cool to see. Plus, I'm finally painting the characters I like. There's a lot of mistakes here and there that I'm not happy with, but I'm proud of what I've got. And we're going to move on to full figure stuff next. Live stream seems really neat. I like it. I've been enjoying it so far. I mean, it's great. You guys are coming in here and having a good time. I hope to keep doing this. I want to have like an off day too. If this is something I wanted to do on Discord back when I had it too, is to play games with you guys or something on an off day. Either me playing, you know, like something single player and you guys just hanging out, or us all jumping onto like, I don't know, Fortnite or Valorant or something interesting. Have I been watching the new seasons? Heck yes. I haven't watched the last like 2 episodes, the season finale of the new season, which I heard were pretty epic, but I can't wait to check them out. I've just been busy, and then I also got distracted with other anime. I've been watching The Devil is a Part-Timer. I don't know, I got like a comedy anime bug, and I was watching like Konosuba and Devil is a Part-Timer, and I put Bleach on pause. Really love the shapes from Rukia. Thank you, Nuzo. That one went through, Rukia went through a lot of fixes. I went in one direction, got it all screwed up, and I had to take like 2 separate sessions outside of the live stream that we did to actually get it working right. You can see this old one that I had. It almost kind of looks alien. You see the difference? I had like screwed up, her nose was too long, her eyes were too far apart. So I was really happy with the fix for that. I've read all the way through the manga, but the animation's been so hard with the anime. I love it. Yeah, Art Punk. Oh man, it's been so good. Seriously, they leveled up their game. It was crazy. The film I watched yesterday was really wholesome. Heard of Jose, Tiger and the Fish? I have not. I will look it up though. Oh, this looks really cute. Very beautiful. Is this gonna make me cry? You're gonna make me watch a sad anime, huh? It's okay, I've watched plenty. But it looks really pretty. I'll check it out. Thank you. Thank you, Jakio. Yeah, I know my colors right now are not the greatest. I am understanding more about it. But these were all supposed to be very, I guess, plain sort of lighting portraits. It's the whole like idea that I talked about of general to specific. I didn't want to go into any complicated lighting or mood. I just needed to understand how to paint heads. So simple lighting, simple shadows, and then the next part we'll start doing more of like I'm gonna do full illustrations with these characters. So that's when we'll start to add like we'll start to think about the lighting as a whole and the colors and the mood based on what story I'm trying to tell. Jakio, when you learn bones for the structure in your video, do you do one at a time or in a group? Depends what I'm learning. Sometimes I like to do them all together. Because you need to be able, I feel like you need to do both. You have to isolate a body part, so you can get really into detail about it, but then relate it back to the whole figure. If you do just one and you do the whole figure, you're not going to get enough of the detail. And if you just do the detail, you're never going to relate it back to the figure, so your figures will be messed up. So you have to do a little bit of both. Draw bones and name every bone. I cannot name every bone. That's probably... I think at one point I could in anatomy class, but I don't feel like that's very useful information. But yeah, I definitely don't know every bone. I gotta go back through anatomy. This is part of the reason I'm doing this project, so I think I mentioned that. I'll stop with my bad jokes. It's okay. I like them. There's a lot to remember. Oh wait, Art Punk, I missed your... Speaking of crying, I just recently got around to Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Was not the anime I should have watched while having a downer of a day. Oh yeah. So good. Studio Triggers. Excuse me, but they're fucking amazing. I love them so much. Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I like the game too. Maybe I should play Cyberpunk on here with you guys. But yeah, anime was incredible. I want to watch it again, honestly. It does, it does get sad, but it's incredible. Oh boy, there's a lot to remember. So working from general and specific. Yeah, general shape to very specific. It just depends on what you're studying. So in you're making decisions based on how you want to study so that you're not making things too complicated for yourself. If it's shapes that you need to work on, if it's lighting, color, you just focus in on those and make them simple as possible. You are still kind of doing everything else still. Like I still care about the shape design and things like that, but your focus is on something specific. Generally, when you're trying to learn. And trying to make it general to specific just makes it easier for you to learn the things that you're trying to learn. I used to make anatomy tutorials on DeviantArt in the early 2000s, so I used to remember not all but most bones. Nice. That's cool. DeviantArt has gone super downhill. I went on there like a week ago, and it's just all AI art now. It's so stupid. JK, I need to work out. It's supposed to help me with focusing and such. Hell yes, it is. Definitely exercise. I actually have to go in the next couple minutes, guys, because we're over time and I gotta work out too. Lavona, hi. Just joined and watched most of your videos. Thank you a lot. You really inspired me to keep practice. Don't give up on drawing. Inspiring person. Thank you, Lavona. These are all the portraits I made over the past couple weeks. The newest one is the biggest one. I'm glad I'm inspiring you. You guys are all inspiring me with your comments, honestly. Leg days haunt me. Yeah, leg days haunt me too. One thing I do is, oh wait, I'm personally doing shape practice now, just cubes and cylinders. I realized how much I didn't understand form to that basic of an extent. Yeah, that can be really helpful, especially in the beginning. I would just warn you not to stay there, because when you study that stuff, it's like studying in a vacuum, right? It's like when I said when you study parts of the figure and then relate it back to the figure. Don't forget that when you learn those basic shapes, you have to relate those back into life. So you have to, you know, paint things or draw things that relate back to those basic shapes that you studied. You just keep drawing basic shapes or painting basic shapes, that's all you're going to be able to do. So that's great practice. Just make sure you don't stay there. Go study those things, then try a project where you apply yourself using that knowledge that you have. One thing I do to save time is use coloring books to practice rendering and coloring. You know, I've never thought of that before. That is such a cool idea. That's such a good idea for. That might be a potential video. I don't do a lot of traditional coloring, but that's a cool idea. Art punk, been going back and forth, shapes, figures, Inktober, trying to apply everything in between. Exactly. Okay, that's cool. Good for you. JQ, I've started coloring, getting into things I'm uncomfortable with. That's good. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. I'll check that out. Scanned coloring books. That's a good idea, honestly. Yeah, I think I might definitely try that. I actually used to do that back in the day. People would color manga pages, and I did a couple of those. I think probably still like on my old DeviantArt. They were terrible, but I did do that with manga pages. Oh, that's cool, Gregory. All right. Or once you drop that website name, I'm gonna wrap up here, guys. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 to 10:30. It's relaxing the color of pencils on pre-drawn lines. Yeah, it is. I think that would definitely be a good idea for beginners to practice if they wanted to understand coloring without worrying about a drawing. Um, I like that idea. Make things very simple. My one goal is to learn to be able to draw anatomy like TB Choi. Oh, nice. She draws anatomy super gorgeous. It's amazing. Do you have her book, Jakio? Her book is amazing. You can see how she designs a figure. Yeah, I have it too. Um, my version is stuffed underneath a bunch of other books, so I'll refrain from getting it for right now. But yeah, I use it too. It's incredible. I've also saved like a handful of her Twitter images and stuff because they're just great to study from. All right, four. I'm gonna have to turn this off. I really gotta go. Um, yeah, it's awesome. It's a great book. It is called your own. It's called Design Your Own Anime and Manga Characters. by TB Choi. It's a, if you want to learn how to design the figure and not just like the anatomy of it, how to design anatomy, it's incredible. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. 4, you can drop us the website tomorrow for the coloring book if you're around, because I'll definitely be interested in checking that out. All right, guys, have a good one. See you all later. Bye.